So I have a special video for you guys today. This is an interview that I had with a customer. His name is Mike, and he was able to turn a $20,000 balance into over 200,000 in a matter of 12 months using a combination of the Ranger algorithm and also some manual trading as well. So in this interview, I talked to him about high risk trading, lessons learned, and what the future entails for Mike as well. And so hopefully you guys can, learn some things from this interview about trading in general and about risk management, so we can better calculate risk for our future and our trading.
Okay, so here we have what we're calling as Mike, since he wants to keep his name private. And we're going to be talking today about Mike's success using the Ranger and, well, just trading in general. Mike was able to turn a $20,000 balance into over 200,000 in a matter of, I believe, 12 months or something like that, which he's going to be able
Yep.
to disclose to us today. And so, guys, I wanted to just give you a bit of a success story that's having to do with just trading in general, but also with the Ranger. The Ranger algorithm is an algorithm that I've personally built and have allowed others to use and partake of its ability over the last about 17 months. And so Mike here has been involved or has been using the Ranger for quite some time and has kind of used it with his own manual style of trading as well to kind of complement. So we're going to hear from him today to see what he's been able to do with the Ranger and his trading. So this will be pretty interesting. And so we'll talk about lessons learned. We'll talk about profits that were made, and what's in store for Mike moving forward. All right, so let's hear a little bit about Mike and his background. So, Micah, what's your background in, and what got you started in trading?
Yeah, so thanks for having me. Yeah, so I've been trading for about 10 years now. I actually got into it like right after high school. I've always kind of had a trading mindset, you could say. I remember, doing like all the stock games and things like that in high school. And I remember I just kind of thought, I was like, man, I wonder if you could make money trading currencies, which obviously isn't a thought most people have. It's kind of a weird thing, but yeah, I like researched it, fell upon it, and yeah, I just started doing it. So I was kind of a lone wolf. I didn't know anybody that traded, and I wasn't part of any sort of online groups or anything like that. And so, for the longest time, I was just like doing it myself, like just learning from mistakes, learning from like on Baby Pips. They got
Shoot.
some good resources
Yeah, Baby
there.
Bits is a great place to learn how to trade. And when did you kind of start getting serious with it?
Well, I mean, I've kind of always done it. Obviously during college, yeah, I traded during college, and obviously there was more downs than ups, but usually I'd like work during the summers, make enough for school, and then whatever was extra, yeah, I'd go trade it. Now at first though, I was trading with Forex.com, a US regulated broker, which is good.
Mhm.
Um, but like I didn't really know anything about algorithms. I only stumbled upon those in the last like 3 years. So it was about 7 years of just manually trading, just learning on my own. But then, yeah, it wasn't until more recently that I got into algorithms.
Okay. And was it because you were just kind of tired of trying to figure out how to manual trade profitably, or was it just because you were lazy, or was it something else?
I just didn't know about it. Like I said, I kind of was just doing my own thing,
Hmm.
which was, I guess that was one of my mistakes. I should have been more open-minded. I just figured, oh, I'm just going to figure out a good strategy on my own and, trade like that all the time. But
I see. Yep.
But then, yeah, I stumbled upon algorithms. I was like, oh, wow, this is awesome. Like, it can do my trading strategy for me,
Yeah,
and
that's
then I can
that's
go do whatever I want.
That's kind of the same thing that I was looking into back in the day. It's, a lot of people think that algorithmic traders are lazy, but I think that's just because it gets tiring looking at the charts all the time. And when you find out that a piece of software can actually profit in the market just as well as you, or even better, or me, or anybody out there, then why not?
hmm
Why not explore the possibilities there? So,
Yeah.
what kind of algorithms did you kind of get involved with to start with?
At first, I got started with there's like some MLM kind of algorithm things that didn't work. That was more about the multi-level marketing. Um, and so yeah, they didn't even work. But it's like a lot of the scam algorithms at first. I was like, okay, well these aren't working. So then I tried to make my own. Obviously, I don't have any coding experience, so that's been kind of a new thing as well. But then I fell upon Ranger, and actually I fell upon is your original system that you had back
Oh, the
like
RMI or something. The
yeah,
RMIE.
RMI. Yep, I actually found that at the end of 2019. And I remember starting it and it wasn't making any trades. I was like, oh, well, this thing isn't working. So then I didn't do anything with it. But then I came back to it a couple months later. I was like, oh, wow, this is actually really impressive. So I started using that. And it's actually going really well. And I was like, man, I wonder what Ryan's doing. And so I tried to find YouTube videos and stuff. And I found you just started the Discord group. I was like, oh wow, he's got an updated Ranger and all this stuff. I was like, sweet, I'm in because I knew that it worked. Your other one works. I was like, I don't mind dropping hundreds of dollars because I already know it works. So then I got in and it's been good.
Yeah, it's that's what's been interesting is to see people's kind of I guess journey with the Ranger, and it sounds like you go way back to 2019,
Hmm.
which is basically when I first started, and so that would make you one of the oldest members that kind of started along with me on this journey, which is awesome. And it's nice to know that you're still around and doing well. Uh, so guess the next question I wanted to ask is. Uh, how much profit have you been able to make? I guess that's the biggest thing that people are wanting to hear here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
Like
guess
let's
first,
start like with how much profit that you've been able to make before the Ranger and then after the Ranger, and what changed?
yeah. So this will take a little bit of explaining because it's not quite cut and clear. Um, so let's see where to start because I was actually using a little bit of the RMI on some other pairs as well as using Ranger um on the approved pairs, or the recommended
Oh,
pairs.
right, right. Hmm.
Um, and so I was kind of doing a kind of a weird hybrid thing, but I guess just to take it from last year about this time using Ranger and RMI to now using those strategies plus a little bit of my own manual trading. Yeah, like you mentioned at the beginning, I've gone from about 20. I started with 26,000, and then well over 200. I pulled out all of my deposit, and my account is at 210, I think, right now, just over. So
Oh, so
it's
you're
it's
almost at 250K
yeah,
since
it's
starting.
it's a moving.
So,
Yeah.
do you
So,
think that uh, and you mentioned that it wasn't all the Ranger that you were able to profit that 225,000 from. So like, what
right.
part of that was manual and trading, and what part of that was that with the Ranger?
Yep. So I had to go back and look because obviously not doing the recommended settings, you're bound to blow up an account. And I kind of knew that going into it. I was like, okay, well, I actually back tested all 26 pairs or whatever it is, the major pairs. And I found the ones that did good last 3 years that, didn't blow up, but, had good, risk return. And so I found I was using about I think 15 pairs. It's 13 or 15 pairs that I was trading with the RMI and Ranger.
Hmm.
Um, and so, but
15
I
pairs. That's
knew that
crazy.
yeah, I know it was pretty crazy. But I should say though, I did actually lower the risk. So I was using about on some pairs I was using about zero point zero 0.01 lots per 2,000, and then some is even 25 or zero point zero 0.01 per 2,500. So it
Okay.
actually was lower risk per pair. I kind of ran a spreadsheet and kind of figured out where my risk was with it all, but ultimately knowing that things would get tight. I knew that going into it, and so sometimes, yeah, when drawdown got big, I don't think most people would accept this kind of drawdown. But yeah, if I was getting over 50%, if it was over 50% drawdown, that's when I would jump in and start doing some of my manual trading,
Interesting.
which being a manual trader for as long as I have, like I'm kind of like chomping at the bit, to get in myself, even though I shouldn't. But yeah, so I'd get in, I'd do some hedge trades, and basically just make it so I come out with at least break even or profit. And so overall, about half of those profits came from the Ranger RMI EA, and then the other half came from saving the account and manual trading, like doing a few of my own personal trades.
Shoot, yeah. So it sounds like
So
you were pretty close to margining out there. What do you think the highest
yeah.
drawdown that you hit was, if you were to
Oh
guess?
man, it got scary. Yeah, I think I got up to about 70% drawdown once, and
Woo.
that was actually somewhat recently too, which is a little scary. So,
Yeah, it's like
yep.
were you able to sleep at night? Because I know that like for me back in the day, I think when I had some losses. This is before this was like 10 years ago, I think, or something like that,
hmm
where I lost $30,000, and that was hard on me. And I got
Yep.
to 70% drawdown, and I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't even like eat. I was so stressed out. And so
Yep.
like so,
I
how was that for you?
Yep, I've had a handful of my sleepless nights for sure, where I'm on my phone watching it the whole time because yeah, I can't just let it be because it could easily blow up. So, but I don't know, I'm kind of a weird breed. There's a part of me that kind of loves it, which is probably bad,
Interesting.
but I like for me, if I actually don't have enough drawdown, like I feel like I'm leaving money on the table. Obviously, I'm changing that mindset now. I'm
Mhm.
with a larger account, I'm drawing back, risk and everything. But before, starting out, like when you do lose money, I think you have like this mindset grows of I need to increase risk to make up for what I've lost. So over the years, obviously I've lost my fair share, and so I think that's why I've let my risk appetite grow
I
just
see.
to make up for it. But now that I'm, kind of back in a good spot, now I'm ready to reel it in, and I don't feel like I have to be risking as much. I wish I would have started from the beginning with not as high risk, like very beginning, like 10 years ago. If I could, I'd rather just start low risk and just ride it out. But seeing as I was already in such a hole, I was like, okay, I didn't mind as much risk. So
I see. Yeah, so that's when did you actually pull out your initial investment during the process of your trading using the Ranger and your manual trading as well? Was it after,
um
or
it
was you
was
after you made your profit, or during?
it was gradually. I think there's two or three times I took out, yeah, like a five-figure withdrawal. So yeah, it was a couple different times where I took out like 10,000 here, 10,000 here, and then another 10,000 here.
I see. Okay.
So it's been through it, yeah, through the process of it.
So yeah, there's a lot of people out there that do high risk trading, and most individuals that do this kind of trading are doing it with smaller account sizes of typically under $5,000 is where I see it happening most. I see some people trying to flip 10K accounts as well. You'll see this on YouTube all over the place, and I'm sure my viewers have seen this. People showing account flipping, and it's a difficult thing to do over and over again. And Mike here is one of the fortunate ones, the ones that success cases that actually was able to do but it's not something that we should plan on being able to do, over and over again. That even with good tools out there, bad things can happen, and we can have pretty substantial losses that affect our lives in pretty big ways. And so I kind of want to lead that with what's your plan moving forward, since you were
hmm
able to make this profit, and you understand that it was high risk, and you were pretty fortunate in this situation. So what's your plan next?
Yep. Kind of like I hinted before. Yeah, I'm definitely scaling back now. I've already gotten rid of all of the other pairs that I was trading RMI on, and I'm back to the recommended settings set by you because now there's no reason, I guess, for me to risk it. And one thing I'd like to know also from before, I was only using money that like I was willing to let go, or that I was okay not seeing again. I think that can definitely add a lot more stress if it's like if you're betting the farm or whatever. So
Yeah.
though I hated large, I mean, well, I didn't hate. I'm okay with large drawdown, but though it was unsettling, it wasn't like life shattering, just because it was always funds that I could
You
afford to
could
lose.
afford to
But now that
lose,
it's
yeah.
like right, but now that it's so big, it's like, okay, well, I definitely don't want to lose this. So I'd rather, yeah, stick to the recommended settings that you've done because you have awesome back tests that you've run. Like, it's honestly, I haven't seen anything even close to comparable to how well the Ranger is.
Yeah, so I guess
And so, yeah.
I guess you've made around 100 and something like 25,000 from the Rangers profits, and then the rest of that is your manual trading on top of that. Which
Yep.
actually see a lot of people doing is when the Ranger is in drawdown, which doesn't happen very often. We see higher periods of drawdown maybe every 3 to 6 months with the Ranger, and when that happens, some people will take advantage of that and start adding some positions to when the Ranger has its rare occasions of higher periods of drawdown and try to capitalize on that. And it sounds like, Mike, that you were able to do that as well, and it kind of worked
Hmm.
out for you. And again, this is something that I should stress, and you're stressing as well, is that these are funds that you were okay losing. And a lot of individuals that are trading in the forex market have borrowed funds. There's even some individuals that are advertising, "Hey, you should take out lines of credit to trade the forex market." That's the most ridiculous bad advice that I've ever heard. So don't do that.
Hmm.
And there are ways that you can still do trading, high risk trading like this. But you have to do it with funds like Mike said that you can afford to lose, and you can also diversify. So, for example, if you have $100,000 to pull from, which not everybody does, but you could have like say 50% of that on low risk trading, and then another 25% on medium risk, and then another 25% on high risk trading, and kind of diversify like that within either the same strategy or different strategies. And this will definitely help people to still get that rush from the high risk trading vibe, the more gambler type of sense. But you're also holding on to your funds in a more responsible way by holding the majority in a more safe line of risk within the strategy. So. So Mike, with this being said, do you have any advice for other people besides either high risk or trading in general, or
Hmm.
mindset? What do you have?
Yeah. So, first of all, I would agree 100% with what you just said. Like with the diversification, I think is really important. One reason why I was able to trade like I have, I'm kind of diversified across assets. Like I actually like to dabble into crypto and stocks as well. And so sometimes when one asset is doing good, I'll pull profits from one and throw it into a different one. And then see if that one grows or whatever and kind of throw it around. And that same principle, like you just said, can be applied to different MT4 accounts. You can have like your high risk, a low risk, and then maybe like your fun one. Like if you're someone like me that's traded for a long time and you just kind of love the game, like you love getting in on trades and stuff, like just having one that meets that those emotions. Because I think that's actually one of the biggest benefits Ranger was for me is like if I'm not in a trade, I just feel like it's almost as bad as being in large drawdown for me. Like I feel like I need to be, going somewhere with it. But Ranger actually allowed me to feel okay, just sitting back because it made all those profits and is doing well. So that way is able to draw back my own personal trades, which is a good thing. Keeping it down to like I don't know, like 6 to 10 manual trades throughout the year or series of trades,
Okay, that's pretty
which was
good.
really good. Yeah, so like emotionally, it was a lot better. Because otherwise, because when you manually trade and you trade with eventually your emotions catch up with you, and you mess up usually for most. I mean, most traders, I think. But
Yeah,
so
I
yeah,
agree with that. Yep.
yeah. And so if anything, the Ranger allowed me to be in the right mindset or emotional set. Yeah, that allowed me to get to that point. So yeah, I'd say yeah, diversification is really important. Yeah, using like the algorithm to manage emotions.
Using
Only
funds that you can
trading.
afford to lose, right?
Yep. Only using funds you can afford to lose. And then, yeah, I think those are the major. And then I guess keeping an open mind, because like I mentioned, for the longest time I was just a manual trader, and I just focused on my own thing until I found, came upon algorithms. I was like, wow, this is wonderful. So I'd say just always keeping an open mind, like not being dead set that this works or this doesn't work, but constantly improving and yeah, exploring.
Yeah, I
So,
think that's a really important one, and that's something that I've been always talking about as well is trying to make sure that you're always learning because I feel like this industry is so big that um, a lot of traders get to the point where they feel comfortable with what they know and what they learn, and they don't want to jump away from that. That's good. That means that
hmm
they're confident in their ability in what they know, but it also makes them potentially closed-minded to new ideas and new opportunities because they're so stuck in their own ways. And I see that a lot of traders that I come across are pretty introverted. They like to keep their strategies and their profits, everything very personal and to themselves, because they don't want things to get out. They don't want people to use what they're using and try to copy their results because there's this big stigma that if a word gets out that a strategy is profitable, everybody's going to use it and it's going to change the profitability of the strategy. That's kind of a myth, and it would take billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars to be on a strategy to really start affecting the market. So yeah,
yeah,
I definitely agree with that point, and hope that listeners here will continue to keep opening their minds to new ideas because the Ranger and my techniques are very different than the majority out there, and I hope that people can be open-minded to that. Okay, so Mike, are you now a full-time trader, or are you still doing other things at this point?
yep, I am now a full-time trader as of 2021. That's all I do now. So,
Oh, that's very exciting.
yep,
So
very
you're
exciting.
one of the few that can actually claim that legitimately.
Yep, yep, and hopefully I can hold on to that. That's the goal.
Yeah. So
So,
like from this point on, are you? I guess that you're making a pretty much a monthly profit from the Ranger in personal trades. Are you doing any more personal trades, or are you just depending on the Ranger?
I want to just rely on the Ranger now. I try to slap my wrist when I want to jump into a
Ah.
trade, just because I know it. Like, if something were to blow up my account, that's what's going to do it. Is my own self sabotage. So I have to slap myself on the wrist when I see something. I'm like, just dying to get in, but I just have to remind myself that that's not the game plan. And so, yep, I'm planning on just going Ranger all the way out from here, and then potentially Pinpoint too. I've been following that, and it looks awesome. I know some accounts kind of had a little bit of a doozy in January, but like I love it. It looks really great, and I know you have version 2 that's in forward testing right now. So yeah, I've been following that as well, and if it looks good too, I'd love to throw that on as well, and yeah,
Yeah, I
of
agree
course,
that
get more profits.
the emotional side of trading is a pretty big killer. To be honest, that's for me. That's been the times that I've lost the most money have been because of manual trading. And
Yep.
it's because if you have losses, you tend to try to make back those losses and do revenge trading, and it just turns bad to worse. And that's a typical thing. And so that's why I've always been pushing people to find ways to automate their money management. They don't necessarily have to automate their strategy, but automating their money management is a really good choice to do, and it's a lot safer to do as well. Okay, so
Indeed.
for uh, so what would you say to somebody? Actually, no. I'm not gonna ask that because I think you've already covered it already. So we're gonna move into what your life is like in the future. Do you want to continue to be a full-time trader? Is this your passion, or are you looking for something different?
Yep, this has been my passion from the beginning. When I was like 10 years ago, when I was 18 out of high school. It's kind of funny because I studied financial economics in college, but I think I spent more time doing Forex than I did studying. I mean, I still got great grades and everything, but like everything else has always kind of been the backup plan. I think deep down inside, like I've always wanted to just do Forex. Um, and yeah, and it took 10 years, but it's finally coming through. So
So no
yeah, the goal
stocks.
is to,
No, you don't want, not
yeah,
interested in going full time in stocks or like indices or anything like that or
um,
futures.
well, I guess full-time trader. Yeah, I do jump into stocks and
Okay.
crypto as well. Like right now, I don't have any stock trades though, because I think it's in a huge bubble. I'm just gonna wait for the next crash
Yes,
to
I
jump in.
agree with
Um,
that.
and then with crypto, I mean, obviously been going crazy the last while. I've made some pretty good returns with that actually as well. But yeah, but those are kind of just every once in a while I'll jump in when I see a really good opportunity. But Forex is my main. That's my money maker right there.
And
My income.
I
So
don't think I asked you how old are you, Mike?
yeah, 28.
28. Oh yeah, maybe you said that in the beginning, but I can't remember. So you're
Yeah.
a 28-year-old uh, full-time trader that actually is pretty wealthy now after a very good year of profit. So everybody, I think that's pretty much how I wanted to end this I guess kind of podcast or interview um, with Mike here, and I just wanted to kind of show you guys that success can happen within the forex market. There's a lot of scams and dishonesty out there. With success stories, and I wanted to kind of give you guys an idea that there are true things that happen out there. That even if Mike was able to make this profit, taking a bit of risk, but it was definitely a calculated risk on his side. It was funds that he could afford to lose. And moving forward as a full-time trader, there are new ideas. There is new risk management that's going to be involved, and I'm glad that I was able to interview here Mike here with his story with the Ranger and his trading, so we can be inspired to push on, and I'll become full-time traders. So, Mike, any last words before we go?
Yeah, actually, one last thing. I'd say when I was such on the beginning of my journey, I remember I got into a couple like MLMs and stuff that weren't any good. Or you mentioned sometimes you see these flashy people on YouTube. They're like, oh, look at these cars or whatever. And so the one point I'd like to make is you can know like a system or a person or whatever by their principles. I remember when I first fell upon your RMI, it was called the best free indicator. And at that time, it was actually right after I'd blown up an account. And I remember thinking, I was like, okay, if I'm a very successful Forex trader, I'm either going to be selling my system for a ton, like a lot of money, or I'm going to do it for free because I don't need this, like, I don't need to make money from a system. It's good enough that I make my own profits. So I remember thinking in principle, I was like, okay, like I think this has opportunity or has potential. And so I would say just if people are still like searching or whatever, yeah, you can know someone or their system by principle. Like don't be chasing those MLMs or yeah, those flashy things because none of it's true. I've been through it all as well. But yeah, the Ranger has been awesome. I've loved it, and yeah, I'm excited to see what happens in the future. So
Well, thanks so much, Mike, for your time. And it's been awesome to hear from you and your story with this. And maybe you'll be a 30-year-old millionaire in the next 2 years. Continue to approach your trading in a smart way. All right, thanks so much
awesome.
for being on my YouTube channel today, and we'll maybe hear more from you in the future. All right, we'll see you later.
Sounds good. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks,
Thanks, Mike.
Ryan.
All right.
Bye.
I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Mike and learned some lessons about risk management. Because as you know, and that Mike and I talked about in this interview, that high risk trading is obviously risky and it typically doesn't work out for most people. Mike had some really good luck here and some skill as well, and learned some lessons about how he wants to change his risk profile in the future. And originally he was using 20,000 of funds that he could afford to lose, and now since that 20,000 is 200,000, he realizes that he doesn't want to lose that 200K that he's working with now, and taking the necessary steps to protect that. So I hope that this was a valuable lesson for everybody, and I hope to do maybe more of these in the future. Talking to traders that are using these algorithms that are kind of helping in their trading profits. So hopefully we can catch you guys in the next video coming up soon.